show you. God, give me the strength to do what I must.
Abraham, do not harm your child. For now I know that you fear God, seeing that you've not withheld your son.
Nissan Serena ndio hii. Na unaweza kuwa wewe ndio tunapikia simu. Kodi ya Nissan Serena ni NS. Alafu kisha kwenye amount ni 50 bob. Hii Nissan Serena tunakupatia na shilingi 50.
Kujiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bid yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16. Kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bid yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bid ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio hununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
She took a piece of cigarette, smoked it on my face. Yeah, I had money, I had help.
Yes.
She smoked it on my face and asked me, what is such a handsome man doing here? And for the first time I felt, how lost am I? That even a feels that I'm lost. A man is a tetrabyte being. You have a body, soul and a spirit. So you can't get spiritual nourishment from a hospital. So when people come, they need to understand, why am I going through what I'm going and what is the way out? Like there's a time I was just teaching about abortion, and I told the ladies, you don't know that there are rich men in this town who have covenants with altars, and they must deliver human sacrifice. Keep on messing up. How do I control myself? Yes, I know having before marriage is bad, but how do I control it? You know, it's a whole question.
For many years you watched me in front of your screens as I brought you business news.
This is where it all began. As the mother of broadcasting in Kenya, you can trust KBC to bring you authentic news and programs to your living room. As KBC, we take pride in our unrivaled heritage as Kenya's trusted national broadcaster. Commanding over 92% digital television signal coverage of our country, 23 radio services that cut across our entire language spectrum, a national, regional and international digital presence backed by the most experienced and top-notch broadcast professionals in the industry.
A very good evening to you.
The new look Kenya Broadcasting Corporation is truly ahead of the pack. Turn to the mother of broadcasting in Kenya for stories that resonate with our identity, our aspirations as a people united in purpose. Real stories of hard work, of passion, of creativity, of big dreams. Stories that cement our nationhood. Stories that bring us together as one. We take pride in our shared heritage and destiny. KBC. Informing, educating and entertaining Kenyans as one nation. KBC. Kenya's listening. Kenya's watching.
Good afternoon. This is KBC and this is KBC Lunchtime News on this 12th day of July 2021. Hope you're having a blessed Sunday on a day that this morning we lost 12 people after a fuel tanker burst into flames. We'll be getting to that. We also have a lot cutting across politics and also human interest stories. Kindly be part of this bulletin via our social media platform at KBC Channel 1 at Ben Troy Njue, and of course on Facebook and also on Twitter and YouTube. We are also live. Welcome. We do begin in Busia, Kisumu Busia Road, where 13 people have died and several others are nursing injuries after a fuel tanker overturned and burst into flames in Malanga along the Kisumu Busia highway. The victims are said to have been attempting to siphon fuel from the petrol tanker. Malanga Sub-Location Assistant Chief Millicent Auma Otieno, who confirmed the incident, said those injured were rushed to the Yala Sub-County Hospital and later referred to the Siaya County Referral Hospital. Let's now join our reporter Simon Achola for more details. Achola, if you can hear me, kindly, what is the latest?
Well, thank you very much, Ben Troy Njue. The wreckage that you can actually see behind me is what remains of a fuel tanker that was actually ferrying fuel from Kisumu to Uganda, and according to Yala OCPD Charles Chacha, he says that the tanker actually collided with another canter that was ferrying milk to Kisumu County, and of course occasioned it is overturning at this point. And of course when locals heard of the loud bang at around 10:30 yesterday evening, most of them of course came out to wanting to see what exactly was happening, and after they realized that it's actually a fuel tanker that is actually overturned at this point, most of them went back to their houses to come back with containers with which they can actually try and siphon fuel from the overturned oil tanker. The locals that we actually spoke to say that shortly after most of them had actually gathered here and started siphoning fuel from the fuel tanker, then the fuel tanker burst into flames, and what followed, they say, was the scenes that come straight from a horror movie. Most of the locals here who are actually already at this point siphoning fuel from the fuel tanker actually being burnt beyond recognition, and of course it was mayhem at this point in time. If my colleague can actually just show exactly, so that then we can try and paint a picture of exactly what was happening here. If he can actually zoom at this point, you will exactly see that this actually bones of a human being, and he was burnt or she was burnt beyond recognition. And now, Ben, such spots are actually littered all over this place. As I speak to you, you can actually see that locals have actually gathered at such a spot, and we have another one there, and of course the other one here. And beyond this wreckage, we're also seeing a number of spots, and locals have actually been coming out trying to identify the little things that could actually point out to them if indeed these are their loved ones. We are told by the OCPD that about 13 people, in fact he actually confirmed that 13 people actually perished in this inferno, and we also told that 9 others are seriously injured and are actually at Siaya County Referral Hospital, and 5 others are actually being treated at Yala Sub-County Hospital, and of course that is what we've actually been witnessing here at this village in Malanga. And Ben, we've actually also gone to the villages, and what we've actually been met with is actually a village in mourning. Each and every home, they are either mourning their loved ones, they are either searching their loved ones, or they're actually in the hospitals actually trying to see that their loved ones actually have been actually being attended to by doctors in the hospital. Most of them are saying that their loved ones actually came out of the homes at around 10:30 or thereabout, wanting to see what exactly was happening at this scene. And of course, most of them were actually caught up in the inferno inferno that actually burst at this place. And we've moved to about 5 homesteads. And Ben, you can see the agony that is written all over the faces of people in this village. They really don't know what is happening. And of course, in this part of the country, if someone dies, then they would rather have the body so that then they can actually bury. But in this situation, most of them don't know where their loved ones are. They are yet to identify their loved ones, and they don't know what will be happening in the next few days in terms of trying to identify their loved ones, so that then they can actually begin the process of actually burying their loved ones. The scene, of course, was initially secured by the police, but we understand the police have actually left at around 8 a.m. in the morning. We saw youth from this area actually trying to vandalize the wreckage, and of course that has been the scene. But everything is actually being done first to secure the scene, but more importantly also to ensure that the bodies of those who perished in this inferno can actually be identified. Back to you, Ben Troy Njue.
Indeed, thank you, Simon Achola from Sidindi. And actually, not even to add anything, a horror or even disturbing images there. And thank you so much, Simon. We'll be coming to you much later with more comprehensive report on the same. Moving on, let's now cross over to the Serena Hotel, where the 80th Executive Committee of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association African Region is currently underway. Okay, before we get to that, let's cross over to Kisii, where police in Nacheki Division, Kisii County, are investigating the mysterious death of a 47-year-old teacher from Boitangare village, whose body was found by the side of a local river. Evans Matundura, a senior teacher at Nyamunya Primary School, went missing before residents stumbled upon his body by the riverside.
According to the family, the teacher failed to return home after attending a funeral, prompting a joint search by residents and local administration. Wilton Nyanchama said the family became distressed when her husband could not be located.
Vile tulikuwa tunaendelea tu kumtafuta mzee wangu mpendwa. Si ajabu mzee akapatikana mtoni. Ameengemezwa tu mtoni tu hivi. Wakamtoa. Wakamweka tu kando ya mto.
Margaret Mora is urging the police to expedite investigations into her father's death.
Saidieni jamani, serikali tuambie kini ya kifo chake jamani. Tumempoteza baba yetu. Baba yetu mpendwa ameenda. Hakutuambia.
Benjamin Bagaka suspects that his colleague may have been strangled to death.
Walimu pia wako na heshima zao na wanataka kupewa heshima. So tunataka uchunguzi ufanywe vizuri, watu wafuatilie, wajue kiini hasa cha mwalimu kuuawa ni nini.
The body has since been transferred to Nyamacha Sub-County Hospital mortuary as police move to investigate the incident. For Lunchtime News, I'm Omboy Otiende.
From Kisii, let's now cross over to the Serena Hotel, where the 80th Executive Committee of the Commonwealth African Region is currently underway, and our reporter Gladys Mungai has been following keenly since morning. Gladys, what can you tell us?
Good afternoon to you, Ben Troy Njue from our broadcasting house. Just like you rightly put it, we are coming to you from the Serena Hotel here in Nairobi County, technically following up on the 80th Executive Committee, Commonwealth Committee meeting. This is the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association meeting that is taking place in Nairobi County. This happens to be the 5th day where members of Parliament from the African continent have been meeting at Serena to technically deliberate on matters parliamentary business, to take stock on gains as well as hitches in parliamentary debates. And so to speak, this is happens to be the last day of that particular meeting, and so members of parliament from member countries of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association Group have been meeting here specifically to sort of give insights in regards to bettering how the parliamentary business can take some milestone. And some of the issues that have been highlighted in this particular meeting is the registration of CPA in the matters of its status. You understand that at the moment, CPA is currently registered as a charity organization in the United Kingdom. And so members of the African countries, that is members of parliament, one of the resolutions is to push for registration of the CPA as a legal entity. And what the chairs of this particular meeting have been saying that in the event that status remains like that, CPA risks losing some of its assets to be distributed to other charity organizations across the globe. And so pushing of that particular CPA to be registered as a legal entity will ensure that assets under CPA will assist other African countries in terms of bettering parliamentary business. This meeting as well comes at a time where it has been suspended a couple of times owing to the effect of COVID-19. And one of the issues that was highlighted during this particular meetings is the ability of parliaments across the African country to continue with the business of the day and business of the house in the context and in matters to do with adherence with the COVID-19 guidelines. And the host speaker of the National Assembly, that is Justin Muturi, just going on to sort of highlight how the parliamentary business can be carried out in matters to do with African countries. Another issue, Ben, is the issue of having CPA registered as an international, in the international, CPA International, so for CPA Africa to be a member of the CPA International. And so far, what we know is that two members of parliament from two countries in the African continent that are members of the CPA will be nominated to head to the United Kingdom ahead of the voting to have them as a representative in that particular entity. And so just to highlight what has been happening here, I'm joined by one of the senior representatives in the African region that happens to be our very own Honorable Makali Mulu. He'll be telling us what are the resolutions of CPA so far.
Yeah, thank you very much. We are yet to come out with the resolutions, but since Monday we have been meeting here as CPA Africa region. Africa region is one of the 9 regions of CPA International. And generally, the objective of CPA is to push for parliamentary democracy, champion mainstreaming of gender issues, and also championing of issues of human rights. So what we have been doing since Monday is subcommittees of the Africa region have been meeting. The Budget Committee, the Planning and Finance Committee, the Regional Representatives Committee, which I share. And then today is the climax of all these subcommittees, where we are having what we call the Executive Committee meeting, which is actually being chaired by one of our own, Speaker Muturi, who is the chairperson of the CPA Africa region. So the issues we are discussing basically cut across, and what we are doing is we are sharing our best practices across the African continent. We have 18 countries represented here, where members of parliament have joined us, and we are now sharing what, as you said earlier, there are issues of concern to us as a region. One of them is the status of CPA, where over the years it is registered as a charity organization. So our push as Africa region is to have it registered as an international organization, the way we have African Parliament or by what we call the International Parliamentary Union, so that at the end of the day, because you know when it's registered as a charity organization, it means in case we are to dissolve, then sharing some of the benefits out of what is happening will be difficult. And that's why we are saying Africa contributes about 50% of the annual subscription every year. And we are saying with that lion's share, we can't just allow, in case anything happened, that such resources would just be in UK and other countries will not benefit. So that's one of the main issues. The other issue we are discussing is we are going to have an annual general meeting around September, which is expected to be held in Nigeria. We're also discussing the topics which will be discussed, and we are coming up with very important topics. For example, we want to look at African parliaments post-COVID-19. If it will be over, if it will not be over, then what are some of the emerging issues?
Thank you, Gladys Mungai there, talking to one of the members of the CPA. There's a Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. They are seeking international recognition in their 80th edition right here in the capital, Nairobi, and of course seeking to strengthen relationships in the African regions. Of course, COVID-19 did scuttle everything, but everything is coming back into shape as they have alluded. They're gonna forge ahead. Of course, we're taking our first break, but before we do that, let me appreciate Nicodemus Yata. You're watching live from Mombasa Changamwe, Kiplagat Mochokoret. You are also tuned in from Kericho. Ateta Mwenyewe, you say, may God rest their souls in peace. As for the others, you wish them quick recovery. That's in regard to the Sindindi tanker tragedy earlier this morning. Let's take that break. We'll be right back with more news.
Nissan Serena ndio hii, na unaweza kuwa wewe ndio tunapikia simu. Kodi ya Nissan Serena ni NS, alafu kisha kwenye amount ni 50 bob. Hii Nissan Serena tunakupatia na shilingi 50.
Kujiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill, kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bidi yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16, kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bidi yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bidi ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio hununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
Ulikuwa waumwa? Umwambia nani kama waumwa?
Nilikuja chumbani kwako kukuangalia, sikukuona.
Uliniangalia kama unione ukaondoka. Shamsae, lakini wanitakia nini mimi wewe?
Ilie. Sikukuaga. Uliniaga nini kama nani? Si boss wako yuko kule ndani. Mbona kumwambia boss kwa mimi naumwa ndio nyumbani? Mbona wewe kwenda kumwambia kama naondoka naenda nyumbani?
Yusuf, don't ever tell me when you are ni kichwa nani, wewe kichwa yako mbaya. Kwa nini unakuja kusumbua watu hapa?
Welcome back and thanks for keeping it KBC. Moving on, hundreds of Hundreds of women in Kitui town took to the streets to protest increased cases of rape, defilement and gender-based violence in the county. The women claim the perpetrators have been walking scot-free, hence denying the victims justice.
Young tech enthusiasts gathered in Nairobi for the inaugural EdTech Festival, an immersive learning and funfair experience in the world of education and technology.
I've learned how to shoot balloon, and we have learned working water, and we have done experiments. We used the computers and we did math. I learned how to make it, and I learned how to make a magic balloon, and also I went to play on the computers.
The ecosystem, to bring the stakeholders together. We need parents, we need the students, we need teachers, we need edtech companies to come together and be able to co-create together, to be able to know that there's a lot of creativity and a lot of skills and a lot of 21st century skills are needed, and how especially students can gain these skills. We also need children to be more imaginative.
Participants interacted with different edtech products, taking part in Arduino and coding activities and robotic compilation challenges.
So we have seen kids who have come here. They have no idea. Before they could not. They had not interacted with robotics. But this is here, and they are able to create their own small robots. They are able to recreate their stories. They are able to know that they can start coding. So all this we want to just let them to love science. We want them to explore and to be creative.
Wairimo Magondu, Education Programs Lead at iHub, says there is need to adopt technology as it stimulates innovation in children, turning them into creative thinkers. Even though there are countries which are more technologically advanced than Kenya, there is hope for the country.
Just a joint effort to co-create and come up with solutions. So it is not a one-man's job, it's not a government job, it's an all-of-us job. So I think there's need for more collaboration to make this a lifestyle.
Wairimo is advising parents and students to embrace STEM to help Kenya secure a robust technological future.
Who starts here at the age of 7, 8, 10, 12. By the time they're 18, they probably, if they have that interest in technology, then they're able to pursue that.
Reporting for Lunchtime News, I'm Jackie Wambiru.
Apologies for that slight mix-up in the clips, but the tech story is technology enthusiasts have talked about urging the government to press forward so that Kenya can move when it comes to technological advancement, where technology enthusiasts are urging the government to press fast forward on Kenya's technological advancement to make science more attractive to the young generation. The tech community says exposing children to technology at a tender age can help secure Kenya's technological future. From there, we are crossing over to sports news. The national women's basketball team qualified for the FIBA Afro Basketball Women's Championship after edging out favorites Egypt 99-83 in a final of the Zone 5 qualifiers held in Kigali, Rwanda.
Kenya avenged the round-robin loss against the defending champions and quickly announced that intention early in the game as the tournament's best power forward, trophy winner Felmas Koranga and Natalia Kinyi scored 3 points and 2 points respectively to hand Kenya a 5-0 lead after 5 minutes. Tournament's most valuable player, MVP Victoria Reynolds, contributed 11 points to inspire the Lionesses to a 29-24 first quarter lead. Mercy Wanyama scored a total of 10 points as Kenya led 50-42 points at halftime. Egypt attempted a comeback in the third period as the centre forward Remy El Gedawi put paint to the rim 12 times on their 27 points, which narrowed Kenya's lead to 3 points for the first time in the game. But Kenya's Victoria Reynolds form proved vital as she scored 2 free throws, while Natalia Kinyi added a point to cushion Kenya's lead with the scores at 70-62. Felmas Koranga and Mercy Wanyama were instrumental in the final quarter, combining to aid the George Mayenga's led Lionesses to an emphatic 99-83 full-time win. Kenya hosts Rwanda, Egypt and debutant South Sudan took part in the 5-day championship. The win ensured Kenya returned to the FIBA Afrobasket Women's Championship for the 7th time. The FIBA Afrobasket Finals are slated for September in Cameroon.
We
just scouted, we watched film, we adjusted, made the changes that we need to make, came out stronger, and we knew that we could beat them, so we just stayed true to ourselves, played the game, and we were successful.
It's all about persistence. We never gave up from the word go. We just took the lead and ran away with the lead.
One more time, Kenya Women Basketball National Team.
Further afield, the Milwaukee Bucks moved to within one game of their first NBA title since 1971 with a 123-119 basket win over the Phoenix Suns. The Bucks now lead the best of 7 series 3-2 and can seal the title at home in Game 6.
Giannis Antetokounmpo had 32 points and 9 rebounds, while Chris Middleton added 29 points and 7 rebounds. The Milwaukee Bucks moved to within one game of their first NBA title since 1971 with a 123-119 win over Phoenix Suns. Ru Holiday had 27 points and 13 assists and also made a key steal of David Booker's late in the fourth quarter as Phoenix tried to stage a late comeback. Booker hit 40 points for the second straight game and for the fourth time in his postseason campaign. Chris Paul, who finished with 21 points and 11 assists, cut the lead to 1 point at 120-119 with 56.6 seconds remaining. But Holiday still led to a dunk for Antetokounmpo with 13.5 seconds left. Although he missed the resulting free throw, Milwaukee regained possession and Phoenix fouled Middleton, who scored one of his 2 shots, to make it a 2-possession game with 9.8 seconds to go.
We kept playing hard, especially that group that came back to the game. They kept moving the ball, they kept getting open shots. They were knocking it down too, so they played great. They played great in that stretch.
The Bucks now lead the best of 7 series 3-2 and can steal the title at home in Game 6. Daniel Mwendwa, Sports.
Closer home, Egyptian heavyweights Al Ahly beat Kaizer Chiefs 3-0 in Morocco on Saturday night to become the first side in history to be crowned African champions 10 times. Meanwhile, Al Ahly coach Pitso Mosimane moves on to an impressive 3 Champions League titles.
In form forward Mohamed Sharif scored 1 and made 1 as Al Ahly, following a relatively even opening, took full advantage after Chiefs Happy Mashiane was dismissed shortly before the break. The Cairo side swiftly profited in the second half, first through Mohamed Sharif with a fine chip, then Mohamed Ashfa Magadi before Amir El Solai cracked home Sharif's clever back heel.
Taher, it's the ball out as a chance, and Ali looking for goal number 2. Oh, how about that? It's an absolute beauty of a goal. Sheriff once again. Oh, it's beautifully set out. It's another goal. That is absolute class.
Al Ahly's tally of 10 African crowns is now double that of their nearest challengers, with city rivals Zamalek and TP Mazembe both tied on. Al Ahly coach Pitso Mosimane moves on to an impressive 3 Champions League titles, with the Egyptians defending the trophy they won last year, while his initial and arguably greatest victory came with Mamelodi Sundowns in 2016.
Congratulations are in order for the new champions, and that's where we put a cap on KBC Lunchtime News. Thank you so much for keeping me company, but don't forget, for more of this, don't forget to log on to www.kbc.co.ke and also our social media platforms as well. Remember, more news at 7 and 9, including we're keeping our eyes peeled for this Sindidi fuel tanker tragedy on the Kisumu-Busia Road. My name is Ben Troenjwe. Byron Abuli has been our sign language interpreter for this afternoon.
Vera Beauty College.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College, with branches in Nairobi, Eldoret, Thika and Meru. Did you know that we are a TVET approved institution? We offer courses in fashion design, interior design in soft furnishing, event decoration, flower arrangement, event planning, hairdressing, barbering and dreadlocks, beauty therapy, makeup, nail technology, spa massages, teaching skills, TOT, solo business management and many more. Register now and